guys, Dan here in the old garage gym. Today we're going to talk about an annoying thing for people who are trainers and people who coach people. Specificity versus variation. So this is going to vary a lot depending on what your goals are and what kind of training you can stick to. So those are two very opposed things. The training you are shooting for, if you're going to be a power lifter, you have to squat, bench, and deadlift. Like, it's just part of the freaking game that you have to learn how to do. So the more specific to those we can get, the better at that skill you're going to be. So you need to have them or close variations of them in your program to keep your skill level high and continue to build strength in those. Now, if you are a strongman competitor or a CrossFit athlete or a general health person that just wants to look better, feel better, get a little stronger, put on some muscle, those camps can have far less specificity. If you are talking general fitness, honestly, the only specificity you need is a muscle stimulus of some kind throughout all the muscles in your body throughout the week. That can be a bench press for your chest and triceps and shoulders. That can be an incline press. That can be overhead press. That can be a pec deck, like a chest press plate loadable machine. It doesn't have to be super specific to the bench press, let's say. As long as you are getting the work in the muscles you're trying to get the work in, it doesn't matter what things do it. You can dumbbell bench and never touch a barbell, and that's okay. You can do a different press variation every week, and that's okay. Does kind of get hard to track progress if you have too much variation, but it's okay because your goal is to get some muscle, to lean out, to build some strength, to look better, feel better. Strongman, similar idea. You need to be good at overhead pressing, so you need strong shoulders. There's a million ways to do that. You need to be decent at deadlifting. There's a million ways to get your glutes, hamstrings, and back strong. You need to be athletic. There's a lot of ways to train your athleticism and to build that speed and endurance and conditioning. Exactly the same idea with CrossFit. I know that's going to hurt some people's feelings, but I'm sorry. If you're in strongman, I competed in it for a long ass time, as recently as last year, been doing it for over a decade. If you are competing in strongman, it is just heavy, short duration CrossFit with awkward things instead of barbells. Like, it is the same, it's the same body exertion type of thing, just with a different time domain. Lots of variation. Now, if you have a contest picked out in strongman and it has a log press and it does not have a circus dumbbell, then you can make an argument for staying closer to log press instead of just, doing a lot of circus dumbbell work. Lastly, CrossFit, very varied, completely different, very high reps, so CNS isn't even as big of an issue. Variation reigns supreme because there's so many things to get good at. So with strongman, CrossFit, and general health and fitness, specificity isn't that important. Bodybuilding, same thing, not as important unless you have a lagging muscle group. But in general, variation will keep things fresher and more exciting, and especially the less committed you are to a competition realm, the more you need to enjoy things to keep doing it. So for those three categories of people, strongman probably a little less, but CrossFit and general health, absolutely. Variation over specificity, 100%. Powerlifting is where it gets a little tricky and a little bit into strongman once you have a contest picked out. You need to get specifically good at very niche things for whatever you're going to be competing in. So specificity matters. But you probably shouldn't squat, bench, and deadlift to a max every day. Ultimate specificity for powerlifting is a 1 rep max for the squat, the bench, and the deadlift. If you do that, you will get good at squatting, benching, and deadlifting, but you will get ruined. Your nervous system will be fatigued. You will never be able to recover. So there needs to be some variation with that as well. And there's a ton of program varieties to do that. You can have 4 weeks where you hit the same thing. Same idea. You have a bench day, a squat day, a deadlift day, an overhead press, or like a back day or something. And you do that for 4 weeks, and you linearly progress your weights ups or your reps down, or whatever makes sense to you, and then the next 4 weeks you can run the same thing again if you want. You can do that for a long ass time and have pretty good progress until you hit certain levels of the game. Once that happens, you need deload weeks. things like 4 weeks of one type of thing, and then the next week we're still training bench. Maybe we're focusing on close grip bench. So a slightly different stimulus to combat overuse injuries. The only issue with specificity, ultimate specificity, is overuse injuries as you get stronger and as you get older. If you are brand new, you can bicep curl every day. If you are not brand new and you're decently strong and a big person, if you bicep curl every day, you will fuck your elbows up. The connective tissues start to become the problem with super specificity. Okay, so how do I personally get around that? Well, first of all, you go in the description and you click through my affiliate links and buy things that you want. This does not change the pricing for you, but it gives me a couple pennies kickback as a way to say thank you, Dan, for the information that you are providing us. So check those out below. Secondly, I combat these with types of alternating linear periodization. I have a lot of programs on my app, which is also linked in the description, that goes that. It's my favorite way to program for the vast majority of intermediate to advanced lifters. And what that would mean is week 1, we're gonna bench press. Depending on how far away you are from your competition is gonna depend on the rep ranges and percentages. The next week, maybe we'll do an overhead press instead. It's still building the shoulders, it's still building the triceps, but in a different way so we can still train it heavy and not have to deload, but not suffer overuse injuries. And then week 3, we're back to benching. Or maybe you go bench press and close grip bench. And then I'm a big fan of the more advanced and the bigger the athlete, the more alternating squats and deadlifts week to week make a difference. Or maybe you go squat 1 week, front squat the next week. Maybe you go deadlift 1 week, Zercher squat the next week, because it's still doing a lot of back work for you that you need in your deadlift, but it's not gonna hit you as hard as a deadlift at those rep ranges just because you cannot handle as much weight. So that is how, when you do that, you essentially are building in deloads as you go, but then you never have to really deload until it's time to finish your peak for your meet. So for powerlifting, huge recommendation for me, if you are an intermediate or further along lifter, is alternating linear periodization. So you're still progressing your lifts. Maybe we go a heavy 5 bench 1 week. Next week, it's a heavy 5 close grip. Week 3, it's a heavy 4 bench. Week 4, it's a heavy 4 on close grip. So you can progress linearly, but you're going your bench weight, your close grip bench weight. Your bench weight, your close grip bench weight. Same thing with squats. Your squat, your front squat 5 rep max. Your back squat 4 rep max, your front squat 4 rep max. So it still keeps pushing the needle, but it's giving your nervous system a break. And for me, I came from CrossFit, so I love variation. I get super bored with very straight linear periodization, even if it works well. So this has allowed me to continue to get stronger and not get burned out through alternating the periodization like that. As I mentioned, I do have an app. I also do custom programming as well. Feel free to reach out. You can find me on Instagram at strongman_Dan, and the link below does have a link to my app website. This is a template programming feel. It is 30 bucks a month. There's a crap ton of programs on there. I got powerlifting, I got hypertrophy, I got meet prep, I got 6-week peaks, I got some powerlifting and bodybuilding with club and mace type things as well, if that's what you're getting into, which is kind of my current enjoyable jam. And I will be adding programs as we go. Comment below, let me know what you guys have tried. Have you tried conjugate? Have you tried linear? Have you tried alternating linear? Daily undulating? Like, what's your deal? What do you feel like has worked well for you? And what would you like to see from me in the app? What kinds of things would trip your trigger and be of interest to you? Be sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.